You've heard the term preaching to the choir, right? Well, down in Fort Worth, Texas, this particular choir just happens to be a Lockheed Martin plant. Rows of folding chairs full of people who build F-35s for a living. And a man walks out in front of them and announces the national defense budget is jumping from roughly $900 billion to $1.5 trillion. And this didn't happen at the Pentagon, not at the Capitol, but at the plant who's making those planes. We are rebuilding the arsenal of freedom, he told them. At Lockheed, where those people are about to get paid. And yes, Pete Hegseth has been on tour trying to sell everyone on this outrageous military budget and reduced oversight. And on Tuesday, he carried that same number, that $1.5 trillion, up to the Senate Appropriations Committee, and it went about as well as you could imagine. Because $1.5 trillion for fiscal year 2027 is more than a 50% increase in a single year. The Pentagon top line has never once cracked $1 trillion in the history of our country. And on top of that, Hegseth wants an additional $67 billion right now as a supplemental for the Iran war. You know, the war that he's told us is over, the one where the president has told us we won. Spoiler alert, we didn't win, and we totally are going to lose.
The Iranian defense industrial base is effectively gone, but they do have underground facilities because they're the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and they've spent 47 years trying to hide their missiles under mountains, just like their nuclear capabilities, because they would like to get a nuclear weapon to wield it against us.
Of the war to believe, because it's either over or it's not over. It's within 2 weeks or it's not 2 weeks. We have no missiles or we have missiles.
So an economist, Dean Baker, he did the one thing that nobody seems to do anymore. He mathed. And he mathed the hell out of this. Well, I mean, it was simple division, but still, he mathed. And this increase works out to just under $5,000 per American household per year. $5,000. $5,000 is a car repair that you didn't see coming. A deductible that you're praying you didn't hit. $5,000 is a used Corolla with 190,000 miles on it, and the check engine light, the whole family has silently agreed we're not going to discuss it. $5,000 in a year, that's a year of community college in most places of our country. And don't act like none of that matters to you guys. That $5,000 is what your government is asking you for. And no, you don't get a vote on it. There's no line item on your pay stub. And hell, if you called the Pentagon and asked for an itemized receipt, they would laugh at you until the line went dead. And then Hegseth said this. He said that not funding the Department of Defense at $1.5 trillion is the greatest threat that our nation faces. Yeah, he said that the greatest threat facing the United States of America, per the Secretary of War, what is it good for, is Congress not giving him more money. Our biggest threat isn't China. It isn't our debt. It's not the power grid, not the next pandemic. Our biggest threat is Congress. Congress being fiscally responsible. That's your new boogeyman. Gary Peters of Michigan told him, quote, "You, sir, are the failure, not the men and women who are on that front line, and no truer words have been spoken." And yet, Pete Hegseth's response to a United States senator asking where $37.5 billion is gone was to tell him that he has Trump derangement syndrome. By the way, I see the comments, and especially that one on one of our stories that says we're #1 in TDS. I humbly accept that prize. Love it. But if $5,000 a year landed in your household instead of the Pentagon, where would that money go? Not what should the country do with it, not some dream, but what good would that $5,000 do in your household? What can't you afford right now that that $5,000 would cover? Because that's the type of thinking we need for the Pentagon. Not, I need my $1.5 trillion. And look, Congress already gave them money once. That department is sitting on $75 billion unspent right now out of the $156 billion they got last year in the reconciliation bill. Patty Murray said that the committee will not rubber stamp a request to bankroll this war. She is the ranking member, which means it amounts to almost nothing unless 4 Republicans decide to mean it alongside her. And by the way, Hegseth also told that committee he doesn't know what his predecessor did for 4 years. Well, by the way, Lloyd Austin ran that building without ever needing an emergency $67 billion in month 2 of a war that we were told would take weeks. And Mr. Bigley himself posted that $1.5 trillion because that's where he airs all of his grievances. And he posted that this will let us build the dream military that we have long been, and I want you to really think about this, we've been entitled to. Yes, Donald Trump says we're entitled to a dream military with a $1.5 trillion budget in a country where entitlements is the words they use for our safety nets. That's the word they use when they want to explain why your grandmother's insulin has to get more expensive. And yet, we're entitled to a military spending $1.5 trillion. And that's why I'm asking you to subscribe, because they're going to walk right past this number 400 more times before we get to the midterms. And somebody in your feed needs to tell you exactly how much it's going to cost your household.